And the reality is that you have to stand for something or you'll fall for everything. And I think, for me, my position is clear. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Do I agree that a man should defend his wife? Absolutely. Now the question is how do you defend her? How do you defend her honor? And I do not think violence in that situation with Tom Ford suits on and $1 million watches was the appropriate occasion or time to be physically violent with another superstar. Because you have to make a lot of assumptions in order to arrive at your conclusion. You have to assume that he did it out of malice. He knew she had a medical condition. And even if he did, we can agree that he was wrong if he knew that he did, but it was a joke. This is what comedians do. And so the response still wouldn't have been warranted because you got to look at the nature of the joke. Like, is this the most egregious thing that you can say to somebody? Making a G.I. Jane reference? And I just don't think that it was. But regardless of what side of the fence you're on that, whether the joke was appropriate or not, the fact of the matter is what I would hope that we all should be able to agree on, especially for black people in that platform at this time in our lives and this time in history, that using physical violence in that situation is not warranted under any circumstances based on this situation. And so I'm not even going to get into all this old entanglement stuff and everything else that is going on in their personal life. I just know that their life is on display. And so there is no joke that is off limits, and from that realm, right? We talk about Dave Chappelle. I think we agree that he is one of the greats. And so there's nothing that's off limits. Netflix, luckily the CEO said, look, I'm not going to cancel Dave Chappelle because the transgender community and those who work there was threatening to quit and all this other stuff. And I'm not going to cancel him because you don't like his jokes. So you set the precedence. So every comedian who makes a joke that the audience don't like, and that goes back to what you were saying. Is it because you like Will Smith and you don't like Chris Rock as much? Or is it because you really believe that the joke was egregious? Because otherwise, if it's just a matter of personally offending somebody, well, Dave Chappelle has offended a lot of people. Martin has offended a lot of people. Chris Rock has. Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, all these people have offended a lot of people in the audience. And we would never condone an audience member going up and assaulting them.